My name is Kenny Dyal and I want to welcome you to the Scuba Diving channel. This channel is for anybody that is aquatically inclined or just aquatically curious. My next guest's name is Michael Chapman, but he goes by Chappy. He may look like a big tough guy, but he's one of the most laid back fun people I've ever met. He's a great personal friend. Big tough Chappy's decided to sit down and have an interview with us and talk about a little bit of the stuff he sees on the sheriff's dive team. He does crazy things like swim under boats looking for mines and things like that. But what he really does is he teaches independently. He loves taking people for the first time in the water and seeing those eyes light up and people get excited. Chappy also has an incredible ability to make diving fun. If you want to learn how to teach better or become an independent instructor successfully, this is your guy. Michael Chapman, you have created an independent instruction nonprofit called Sea King Scuba. You not only teach lessons, but you also help wounded veterans, anyone who's publicly served, or really anyone for that matter, if I understand correctly, particularly people that have been wounded or have additional challenges. You got scuba certified at what age?
13. I think that was as early as you could do it back then. Look at all the little product magazines of all the cool stuff that was coming out, and I'd take them all home and I'd just sit there and look at them. So finally my mom got me certified as a Christmas present one year when I was like 13, 12 or 13.
So why did you want to become a scuba instructor?
Just that natural progression of you start off and you're getting your specialty license, certifications along the way. Now you want to start teaching those skills and moving on up into the professional side of diving. If it's something that you're passionate about, I think that also helps make you a better instructor anyways, because people can sense and feel that passion and enthusiasm for whatever you're trying to teach. But everyone's had that instructor like that Bueller, and you're like, oh my gosh, death by PowerPoint type stuff, versus someone that's actually passionate about it. You then become enthused about whatever topic that person is teaching.
Give me an example of that. You said death by PowerPoint and people that are just, they're kind of too hard on students. You don't believe in that negativity. You don't believe in boring them, putting them to sleep. What do you do that's different?
I truly think that people learn the best when they're having fun. So if you can make whatever you're doing fun, you're going to retain much more. You're going to have fun while you're doing it, and you're going to want to continue to do it because you did enjoy your time with whatever your topic you were learning. There's not a lot of wiggle room when it comes to what you have to teach. You have to teach these certain things, but being a fun, happy person, enthused and passionate about what you're doing, and that comes through to your students. If you're having fun, then your students are going to be having fun too, rather than everyone's seen those stone-faced dive instructors that are just like, build your gear, let's do this, let's do that, let's get in the water, and you look at the poor students and they're just ants marching along, just not having fun, man. Versus when you got the instructor that's jumping up on top of the table and acting silly and crazy, like those people, that whole dive group is having fun. A lot of people get so hung up on the safety side of things and focusing on these negative things about the dive industry. You got to approach them and you got to talk about those things so people understand what risks there are. But you don't have to just sit there and hammer on those couple things. Everyone wants to have the fun and talk about the fun things you see underwater and the cool things that you get to do. Not like, make sure you're going up 30 feet per minute and do. Of course, we got to talk about it, but when instructors are just like harping on it, I think that's that difference.
And can you give me an example of how you focus on the positive if someone messed up?
I always try to give a praise first. Like, hey man, good job on doing this. Next time we go down though, let's fix this one thing that you didn't quite do right, but good job on all these other things. Like, hey, rock on, man, that was awesome, but let's try to fix this one thing.
Along the way, we all get better. The reality is we get better by screwing up. Is there a particular screw up that you really learned a lot from that you'd like to warn someone else about out there?
If you're going to take it upon yourself to get the gear for people, like that concierge type diving where, hey man, I'm bring all your gear for you and whatnot, you better actually bring all their gear. Always have like a save a dive kit, a save a dive bag, not just for little problems, O-rings and things like that, but have a whole set of extra gear. If you can over prepare in the beginning, It might take a little more work and a little more hassle. It comes through in the clutch when something does go wrong, and inevitably something's going to happen during that class. Nothing like bad, but always
Right.
gear or something. And bring yourself a towel and a change of clothes. I always get so focused on getting everybody else's gear and getting everything that I need that I always forget to bring a towel for myself. So I go home wet and cold.
Was there something you tried that was an experiment that you didn't think would work and it did? Kind of surprised you?
Traditionally, like the students would go to the shop, get their gear, and they'd have it throughout the week. But just that extra little bit of customer service and bringing the gear for the people makes you as an instructor or as a company look that much better.
And how much time do you spend before the class getting all that gear ready and checking
Days.
it all? Days. Just for class of what, 4, 5, 6 people? Would you say the majority of students out there, they just don't see what work goes into that?
Oh, for sure. And that goes across the dive profession in general. The customers don't see behind the curtain, lugging tanks, filling tanks, washing gear, hanging gear up, pulling new gear out. Get just
fixing
the
it.
amount of work that goes into, when you're paying for a private class, in my opinion, like that's part of that customer service. If you're paying good money, then I'm going to go above and beyond for my customer.
Is there something specific that you've learned over time that maybe a new person, you can say, hey, you can go ahead and give them that wisdom right now and they can start off with it?
Take the time prior to the actual class to get your paperwork done. So don't just have them show up and like jump right into, diving. Do it hands-on with those people rather than just watching a video on how to do it. Because when they get there, you're like, they're all discombobulated. They don't know what the heck they're doing. So if you take a little bit of time beforehand, once you're at the dive site, it'll run so much smoother.
You mentioned you don't have a dive shop. I assume you have relationships with local dive shops.
Yeah. You got to build a relationship with one, if not multiple shops as an independent instructor, because you don't have all that equipment, all those little things that you don't have as an independent person.
In a good relationship with a shop, is there another benefit besides just the obvious equipment?
Some shops, when you send in people, like they'll give you a little bit of like commish, like, hey man, thanks for sending me, here's 10% of the sale or something like that. So you can make a little bit of money doing that as well. Build a relationship with the shop, one that you have a good relationship with the employees and the owners, one that sells good gear that you like and that you're familiar with and that can service it for you and do all this stuff, because you're going to be kind of with them for years on years to come.
Do you feel like you teaching independently hurts them or helps them?
And I'm sending them to the shop to buy their mask and fins and snorkels, and they're going to that shop to do any future dive trips and things like that.
Do you think an independent instructor brings a better value than maybe a dive shop?
At a dive shop, man, it's, hey, show up next week for dive class or don't. If you don't mind showing up on Tuesday with a bunch of random people, then cool, like go pay $400 for your dive class. But if you want a one-on-one, or you and your partner, spouse, friend, whatever, then you're paying for a private class at $1,000 per person. I think you get more value out of that, but it's what you want.
Do you think your odds of continuing diving and finding a dive community in a larger standard class, do you think the odds are just as good?
I don't think so. And from what I've personally seen throughout the years is those big giant classes, while everyone still has fun, it's not as personable to each of the to those people. My attention and my time is divided amongst those too many people, versus I can focus more attention on you guys, give you more instruction, better instruction, more quality instruction, try to make it more fun versus them big classes, or when you get big groups, you're just trying to keep the chaos from unraveling.
Yeah. I've heard a few people say now that it sounds like the independent instructor that charges what their time is worth ends up making almost all of their students lifetime divers. And a lifetime diver that is comfortable and ready to go on that next adventure and maybe ready to get outfitted with their equipment is probably the best hand packaged gift a dive shop
For sure.
could ever have.
If you still own your shop and you had 10 Chappies running around as independent instructors. Not for you specifically, but kind of for you. Like, we're out there doing all these classes. They're doing continuing education, whether it's through their independent instructor or coming to a shop now to do advanced class and some of these, buying their gear, signing up for dive trips that they see on the wall.
What could dive shops do differently right now to help the independent instructor?
A reward system for them. Like, if they refer their students, give them a small percentage of the sales. Like, the markup on dive gear and equipment. So to throw a dive instructor or the independent instructor like 10% of a sale, like, it puts a couple extra $100 in his pocket. It motivates him to continue to send people to your shop. By him being motivated to send people to your shop, that means more people are coming to your shop, making more sales. Some type of incentive, whether it's through commissions of sales, free air or tanks, or just gear rentals in general. Like, hey man, come grab whatever you need.
How do you keep it fun, and what do you still look forward to doing?
You gotta change up the locations, man. But damn, when you go there over and over and over again, like, it gets boring for you. So if you have the ability to change up, that reinvigorates the instructor to keep enjoying what he's doing. When you're just teaching basic open water classes, like, you become stupid. Like, what's the turnaround for dive professionals? Like 2 or 3 years.
2 to 3 years is
something like that.
Typical burnout.
Like, it's because they're not out learning new stuff.
Do you have something long-term you're looking forward to?
Our retirement's set up for a 25-year, but if I can get out at 20, which is just 5 years away, I'm out. So trying to build up my business in that time where I can just seamlessly step away from the sheriff's office right into this and just do this full-time for the rest of my days.
You're excited. You teach at a pace where you can keep it fun for the most part. Mm-hmm. You keep changing it up. You keep learning new things, and you're excited in 5, 10, 15 years to do this for retirement. So you're still excited to do it, and you're looking forward to that next dive.
Heck yeah, I'm looking forward to retiring. Not have to work for the sheriff's office no more.
By retiring, you mean just teaching all the time?
Yeah.
So that is retirement?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you have it. That's how you keep it fun. Chappy, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, dude.
And have fun on your next trip. I know you will. If you want the full-length, uncensored interview, go to sweetwaterscuba.com.